The Lighthouse is one of the best cinema experiences I've ever had. This film is breathtaking in every sense. The cinematography, the soundtrack, the performances of both actors, the plot and meaning behind the whole film is spectacular and mesmerizing. In this video, I'd like to discuss why I believe this film is so important to me and to the cinema world as a whole. I'll break the video down into separate parts. Firstly, talking about the cinema aspects of the film that I enjoyed. Then I will discuss and highlight the possible interpretations of the film and the philosophical and psychological aspects. The acting in this film is outstanding. The ability to deliver both deeply disturbing moments, which are cut by surprisingly comedic moments, is both a testament to the actors and writing as a whole. Both Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe give the best performances I've ever seen from either of them. Willem Dafoe in particular causes you to become transfixed in his lengthy monologues, dragging you into the film, making you hang on every single word. The shot composition in this film is both beautiful and disturbing. The 1.191 aspect ratio brings you right into the film, not allowing you to look away from what's happening. It makes the film feel claustrophobic the whole way through, which in my case caused a constant anxiety about what may just be outside the shot. This aspect of the film is one of the many parts which makes this film extremely disturbing and causes great distress while viewing.
Although it is a stereotype of independent films to use extreme colour gradients, I think the use of black and white worked perfectly. You can really see the dirt and grit on both characters' faces, and each wrinkle is accentuated and made prominent. This works especially on Willem Dafoe's character, aging him and filling his face with character. The black and white is also used in great effect alongside the lighting in the film. Both aspects are used to cast large shadows in each shot. Most of the scenes in the film only have one light source, which makes you focus on what has light on it, and to make you wonder what could be lurking in the dark.
The soundtrack was perfect. It managed to cause a constant sense of tension and anxiety. Its ability to jump from extremities, starting with a slow, constant ambient tone, which unsettles you. It then changes to powerful orchestral blasts, forcing you to focus on what's going on during the scene. The music perfectly draws you into the scene, never overstaying its welcome, delivering perfectly on the build-up it was leading to. I believe that the soundtrack is one of the most important parts of cinema. The ability to pervade the tone and cause you to become transfixed on the screen, and the film does it perfectly. An example of this is the track in the background right now. For the last minute or so, it's been constantly there, droning on in the background, putting you slightly on edge. Then suddenly, it jumps to the brass section blasting as the strings come next, building getting louder and louder, and as soon as the payoff has happened, it's gone again.
In this section, I will discuss what meanings I took from the film, and what I personally got from the plethora of metaphors and references to myths scattered throughout the film. The myth I would like to talk about is that of Sisyphus, which is about a man who was a known trickster and cheated death from the gods many times, and for this he was punished by Zeus. His sentence was to be made to push a boulder up a hill, but before he reached the top, the boulder would fall down again, and he would have to repeat this for eternity. The existentialist philosopher Albert Camus uses this myth to point out how we live our lives. He states it is a metaphor for the individual's persistent struggle against the absurdity of life. He suggests that our search for objective meaning and truth is pointless in an unordered, indifferent universe. He concludes in that the only way we can get over this endless struggle is if we give our lives personal significance and value, and embracing it as our own. So we would have to view Sisyphus as being happy and defiant and pushing the rock forever, or we could never see ourselves as happy. This myth, I believe, is a perfect allegory for Robert Pattinson's character, Winslow, or Tommy, as we later find out. Much of the film is focused on what Winslow does throughout the day, all the menial tasks, cleaning, making sure the siren has fuel, chopping wood, etc. He is miserable doing these tasks and resents being bossed around to do them. He is obsessed with finding out what is in the lighthouse. He believes that the lighthouse is some sort of salvation or redemption from what he did in his past to the real Winslow. Spoiler, he murdered him. In Winslow's search for the higher truth or salvation, he slowly starts losing his mind, and as the film progresses, it becomes more and more insane. Winslow is being told that he doesn't know what day it is or who he really is. This madness is shown in a scene in where Winslow is chased by Tom with an axe, and after he tried to escape the island using a boat. When he manages to run away, when Tom comes in after him, he is quickly told that it was him who was chasing Tom. This build-up of insanity ends with the final act of the film, where Winslow kills Tom. He is first attacked and cut in the arm by Tom using an axe. Winslow then hits Tom over with a pot. He picks up the axe Tom was using and kills him with a blow to the head. After this, he can finally go up to the lighthouse, what the film has been waiting for. The light opens to him, and at first he looks relieved and is in pure pleasure, but he slowly starts to scream, almost in pain and agony. Suddenly, he then slips and falls all the way down the lighthouse, presumably almost killing him. It then cuts to him on the coastal rocks being eaten by seagulls, destined to die. I've skipped over some scenes, but my main point is about what the lighthouse represents. The way I believe this is related to Sisyphus is that Winslow was happier in doing the menial tasks. As soon as he tried to get into the lighthouse, his life span out of control, because he looked for more. He was punished for searching for a higher purpose. Winslow is the embodiment of someone who does not accept that we have to push up that boulder every day. And in doing so, he is punished in every way imaginable. First mentally, then physically, and finally taking his life. Even though I just talked about what I got from the film and what meanings and myths you may find in the film, such as Sisyphus, as a whole, Winslow is an allegory for the film itself, as there are so many meanings and myths that we can find in the film, but in the end, we are punished for doing this as Winslow was. The film is constantly hinting towards something, as certain myths, such as the mermaids, Sisyphus, Prometheus, Poseidon, but the film never fully pays off. This film, in every sense, is designed to make you feel uncomfortable, the soundtrack causing constant anxiety, the aspect ratio causing claustrophobia, and the disturbing imagery of the film as a whole. It is a film made to disturb and frustrate, and make you feel like you've been through hell. It doesn't want you to know fully what happened or what really was going on, and in the end, we are Winslow, suffering for trying to find something more. In conclusion, I love this film, and I'm sure it'll be discussed for years and years, and I don't think there'll ever be a consensus on what the film is truly trying to convey. I'm probably going to make another video on this film, as I didn't talk about everything, and I missed out quite a lot. Thanks for watching. See ya.